The Autobiography of Martin Luther King, Jr. doesn't follow a traditional writing process. Instead, it's a meticulously crafted work compiled by historian Clayborne Carson from King's writings and speeches. Carson provides an introduction explaining the editorial decisions made to create a cohesive narrative. King begins his story with his birth in 1920s Atlanta, detailing a generally happy childhood within a prosperous black community, raised by caring parents. While deeply religious, King faced a personal challenge in reconciling Christian teachings about loving one's enemies with his growing resentment toward racist white individuals. Nonetheless, his faith and opposition to segregation ultimately converged, leading him to recognize the moral obligation of fighting for freedom and equality. King's exploration of philosophy and theology during college solidified this belief, with his admiration for Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolent resistance shaping his future political philosophy. Continuing his studies at Boston University, King delved deeper into the intersection of religion and philosophy, exploring ways to achieve social justice through love and faith, eventually earning his Ph.D. During his time in Boston, he met and married Coretta Scott, a fellow advocate for social justice. Despite the geographical separation due to Scott's Alabama origins, they eventually settled in Montgomery, Alabama, where King's pastoral role and involvement with the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, catapulted him into a prominent figure within the religious and civil rights communities. King was among the first to learn of Rosa Parks' arrest for refusing to give up her bus seat to a white person. He swiftly became a central figure in orchestrating a boycott of the bus service, which gained rapid momentum, elevating King's own prominence. With increasing fame came heightened threats to his safety, including death threats, unjust arrests by racist white police officers, and even a bombing of his residence. Throughout these challenges, King unwaveringly adhered to his commitment to nonviolent resistance, urging his community to do the same, despite mounting anger and calls for retaliation. As large-scale, nonviolent activism persisted, law enforcement responded with mass arrests targeting the black community, leading to King's own arrests. In 1956, the protest bore fruit as buses were desegregated, bolstering the movement's momentum along with King's recognition and expertise. King embarked on journeys to Ghana and India, witnessing the fights against British rule and the ongoing legacy of Gandhi. Back in the United States, white supremacists continued their efforts to silence King, through arrests, threats of lengthy prison terms, and more overt violence, including bombings. Yet, they all failed, and the movement only grew stronger and larger. In the historic March on Washington protest in 1963, where King delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech, approximately 250,000 people attended, including allies from white churches and unions. Simultaneously, white supremacist violence persisted, marked by racist acts such as the murder of black children and frequent police beatings. Despite these challenges, the dedicated struggle of the movement resulted in the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, and King himself was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize that same year. These events marked significant progress for the civil rights movement, but they did not signify its conclusion. Within black communities, divisions emerged regarding the means and ends of achieving victory. While Martin Luther King remained steadfast in his commitment to nonviolence, figures like Malcolm X and many other black individuals believed that violent responses and reprisals were necessary. Although King and Malcolm X met only once and held significant disagreements over tactics and political ideologies, King viewed Malcolm X's assassination as a great tragedy and injustice. Despite internal conflicts and the ongoing violence perpetrated by white supremacists, the civil rights movement succeeded in getting the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965, securing voting rights for racial minorities. Following this achievement, King dedicated his efforts to addressing issues of economic racism, segregated public schools, and other forms of abuse and discrimination in poverty-stricken, inner-city areas of Los Angeles and Chicago. Despite King's unwavering commitment to nonviolence, riots erupted, driven by the profound desperation of the impoverished and oppressed, as well as ongoing provocative violence by racist white individuals. Facing substantial opposition, King and others worked to secure livable housing in Chicago to alleviate the dire suffering in these slum-based communities, achieving partial success. While various factions within the growing Black Power movement focused on retaliatory force, King remained resolute in his opposition to violence, both within the civil rights movement and on broader issues such as his prominent stance against the Vietnam War. Despite facing substantial criticism, he continued to reject violence and tirelessly championed social justice until his tragic assassination on April 4, 1968. The book concludes with a collection of writings and speeches that reaffirm Martin Luther King's unwavering commitment to social justice. These texts convey his hope that he would be remembered as a tireless advocate for justice and as someone who consistently fulfilled his Christian duty by championing the rights of the oppressed. Martin Luther King, Jr. stands as an enduring symbol of one of the most influential political figures in history. His steadfast dedication to equality and justice, his resolute opposition to violence, and his eloquent oratory have all left an indelible mark on the world. The Autobiography of Martin Luther King, Jr. offers an unprecedented glimpse into the man, portraying him not merely as a community leader, but also as an integral part of his community, a profound thinker, a devoted husband, and a loving father. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.